such a dreary day. Got a few things we wanna work on today, and, one of these things is gonna slip right up on us if we don't get it covered and make a decision about how we're gonna handle it. And that's our, cancer policy for our, firemen. And, a certain amount of disability, I think, works with that. I'm gonna let Tim talk to us on that, and Amy talk to us on that, because they've gathered some facts for us today. And, Tim, we'll give you the floor at this point.
Well, I've been waiting on, the league said they was gonna come out with a first responder benefits program that they would, endorse. And they would, finally got it all together. And I really don't know, it just says the Alabama First Responders Benefit Program. And that was when the legislature passed, cancer back in May of 2019, and then Governor Ivey signed it, and it goes into effect January 1st, I think, ain't it? It's like, Amy can explain this better than I. The benefits of it.
They're saying that we have to, take out 25,000 per, let me try the sheet, 25,000 per, fireman. And, then it covers 100% of invasive cancer and then 25% of non-invasive. So they'll pay out 25,000 if you have if they go to the doctor and get, diagnosed, they would pay them $25,000, a one-time flat fee, and then just get that, and then that's all they would get. I think they will pay it twice, so if you got it, and then you got cured, and then you got it again, they would pay 25 again, but then the most they will pay is 50,000.
Yeah, 50,000 on that.
And then it's also long-term disability.
Yeah.
And they'll only pay up to 3 years for the, long-term disability. They'll pay, I believe it's like $3,000 a month.
3,000 to 1,500 a month,
Okay.
depends on what's going on there.
And they could get that up to 180 days, I'm guessing. No, let's see, elimination says 180 days. It says the duration is 3 years. So the most they could be paid, that would be up to 3 years if they could not work. But the state has mandated that we have to take it out on all, full-time firemen, but not on, the volunteers.
How many full-time firemen do we have?
We got 8.
I didn't know that.
And do they have to go first for a screening to make sure that it's not
No.
pre-existing?
No,
If they are, it does
Screenings or-
say if they were to go on just their own between now and December and one of the questions, it's got some questions on here. If they were to go and were diagnosed before January 1, it wouldn't pay. But if it was January 1st or after, it would.
that's when it's supposed to go into effect.
What about the volunteers?
They can get it for a, you can put them on here at a group rate, which is that right now they're saying through this, Hartford is who
Is that
the
that's it,
league
yeah.
is endorsing. Per person, it's $198 a year for both of them, the long-term and the, cancer policy. And then if you're a non-certified firefighter so like that would be the volunteers that are not 160 certified, they could get it for $150 a year. But now if we made them get it on their own through an individual plan, it would be like $230 for the non-certified and $330 for the certified.
It nearly doubles. But they could go under our plan if they wanted to do it.
And them pay it?
Mm-hmm.
But if we could put them under our group plan, it would be a lot lower rate than if they were on an individual plan.
How much does that mean we're gonna have to cut their salary to pay for that?
About
Let's talk
2
about
or 3
that.
hours.
Let's talk about that and see how it goes over.
They,
A day or two.
the
That's a
pol-
good way for a fella to get a whipping.
the policy we're talking about is probably the newest thing that's come out, that benefits, full-time firemen and is offered to, part-time firemen, volunteer firemen. Not part-time, but volunteer. And they can have it also at their cost. And but it's mandatory that we provide it. If it's not an option, we have to provide it by January for all the full-time firemen. And Tim had reached out to a local agent to see if their prices were better than the Hartford, but he hasn't heard back from that. But
Yeah, I just got this stuff Monday,
the
so.
League of Municipalities is actually pretty much endorsing this Hartford company, which is a very large concern in insurance. And we had a visit from Colonial Insurance Company and talked with them. Amy, Angela, and myself met with their agents, and they had a pretty good proposal, but we don't know if they're willing to match the rates. What they talked to us about sounded good, but it's like $237 a year for their insurance at the
Was
time.
that with disability?
That was
or
just
cancer?
just the cancer at the moment, so.
How much, excuse me,
Go
how
ahead.
much is this gonna cost per person?
$198.
$198
A month?
A year.
A year.
A year, oh, for 8
Now, I
people
thought that was for the
per person?
uncertified?
No, for the certified.
Okay, what was the $150 then?
That's
That's it.
non-certified.
That's per year.
Like the volunteers.
It's
If they
less,
wanna take it out on,
so it's less for the volunteers than it is for the.
Well,
If they're not certified.
if they're not certified.
Okay.
If they are certified, it's the same.
So,
I don't know what, I don't know what
No.
that matters.
No, that's gotta be about.
That's under, I don't know why it matters either. It's just, I don't know what the
That's
deal
what it
is on that.
says.
Okay, so for our 8 full-time firemen, it's $198 per person per
Right.
year.
Right,
Okay,
198.24.
well, that's.
$200 per person per
Right,
year.
basically
Yes.
200 a year per person,
I
1,600.
really thought when you started talking, it was $198 a
No,
month.
no, no.
Mm-mm,
But
it's per
100
year.
It'd be 1,600 a
Yes.
year.
Yeah, I don't see nothing wrong with that.
1585.60 is the exact amount.
Pretty close. And I don't know if the local companies around here can match that, because I think this is like 20,000. It's a group policy through this whole state is what they're going after.
I don't see that.
We'll give them a chance certainly, if they can. But I don't know if they'll be able to with
I
the,
wonder,
just the,
would this, it being like it is, would the state go along with getting off in another?
yeah,
They
as
would.
long as you provide
The exact same.
the exact
coverage
same
that they're-
coverage as that right there. They don't care where you get it.
Oh, okay, well, it don't have to be.
No,
through-
it don't have to be through them.
Yeah,
This is just who they had endorsed, I think, for,
And that's just the minimum. What the law calls for it.
If it's required, we don't have a question, I mean, don't have.
No, they ain't no, we just need to say yes and go on and not think about it. Especially in the morning it is, I mean, really, that's not.
Do you know yet what you'll have to do to show that we've complied, Tim? Are we going, is,
I don't know yet. This is the most information I've got on this so far. They've been kinda slow about rolling it out. We waited a month or so. They kept saying, we'll get you the information next week, and it finally rolled on, and we just got this Monday. So I don't know, I can't answer that question, I don't know. I can try to find out, but
but they'll, if we were found in violation of that rule and didn't comply, there's probably would be
I'm-
subjected to something.
I'm
probably.
sure they are.
We wanna make sure we act on it. If we don't have a lot of time to get it done, we wanna make sure we follow through. And I guess, one of the questions I wanted to pose to our council today is, whether or not we want to, do any portion of the volunteer firemen's, we're gonna pay for our certified, full-time firemen. Are we gonna, offer anything at all to our volunteers and uncertified?
I mean, this is something that can be added to later. Right
Yeah.
now, we've just gotta get in compliance.
Right.
So with the budget the way it is right now and everything, I would say get into compliance. Find out if they're gonna be able to be allowed to the group policy and exactly what their cost is gonna be, but get in compliance right now.
Okay.
Just how many do we have?
There's about 25 total. Well, they take away 17 volunteers, 15 to 17 volunteers.
So, do you think before we vote on this, you'll have a quote from a local?
I'm hoping,
Okay,
but
if not.
I hear something back from him this week.
If not, if we go ahead and vote, is this something that can be, can we switch companies if we get a better price?
I would think so. I mean, it's just dealing with insurance companies. I don't know, and I don't know the term of the policy. I don't know, all I know is what we got in the mail on this, which is for a year. That would be 1 year coverage. So next year, if they was to come up with something, they meet the minimums, yeah.
And if somebody retires during this year, can they keep this policy?
Yes, they can
But
keep
it'll
it
just
for
be-
that year.
Just for the,
That's correct. Yeah.
for the year?
Yeah.
Okay.
And they have to be in, say we get new people in, they have to wait a solid year before they can become eligible to receive this benefit.
Okay.
365 days. Once they get signed up and get started, it would be a year before they could get on this program. They have to have
Like we got a new man.
Yeah, they have to have 12 months service.
Okay.
As Tim says, this kind of breaks it into 3 categories: paid firefighters, certified volunteers, and non-certified volunteers are the people who are eligible. The mandatory part is that the city provide all full paid firemen, and all the paid firemen, of course, are certified firemen also. This is from the state, the kind of the benefits.
How much you say it was on the volunteers a month?
These are just some things that's gonna
150,
be
24.
on us before we can even think about it hardly, so we got a couple of meetings to get ready. We may not vote Monday night on the procedure for this, since he's rounding up some additional prices. But it looks like that the 198 is gonna be, pretty much the cost per person for both kinds of insurance, disability and cancer.
I was reckon the state shopped this around before they came out with a rate.
I don't know. And I was reading on here, the reason that the non-certified volunteers is lower is instead of them getting the full benefit of $3,000 for the disability, they would only get $1,500. So that's why that rate is lower on that.
I saw that disability part was half as much as.
Right.
Full time. Tim, we appreciate you keeping us informed. We want to be sure that we don't slip up and not get
Yeah.
in compliance.
And
Right.
but before the next meeting or in 2 or 3 weeks, I should have all.
As soon as you
Everybody.
know something, get information to Amy and she'll pass it on.
Okay.
She'll put it in everybody's box as to what the cost of the other bids were. And
We can do that.
that'd be great. Thank you.
All righty.
Chief Vicker, you up next. We put some things in your budget. Let's discuss the vehicles and the one additional officer today, and any other things you want to bring to the table to the council today. But let's start first with what you know about the vehicles. And
When I started doing the research on the vehicles, getting my budget together, I contacted Ford, and they haven't let the bid yet on the Explorers, which is on the vehicle that they have. And I asked the guy when he thought they was gonna let it. He said maybe November the 1st, he's not sure yet. So I asked him about projected price on it, and the price he gave me is very similar to what a Tahoe is. Dodge has a Dodge Charger, and the new Dodge Charger all-wheel drive that they've come out with, just come out with to replace the old Dodges. And then they have a, what is their Tahoe type SUV?
Yukon?
Equinox.
No, it's,
Talking about Yukons, are you?
no, so I'm talking about the Dodge.
They make a
Oh,
Durango, but I don't.
Durango.
Oh, yeah.
They have a Durango that's a police package, but that's the only one Dodge has. A Chevrolet don't have anything with the Tahoe. They're either running 31, a little over 31 apiece, ready to go. If I ordered a Ford today, if bid is let out, if I ordered a Ford today, it'd probably be March before we see them on the ground here. If I go with the Tahoe, I could have two on the ground here tomorrow. Because Donahue usually overstocks and keeps some on the ground just for their white and black, which is common colors. And he keeps, 100, 150 on the ground all the time, just for purposes that matter.
He's still got the state bid.
Yes, sir.
And how many do you need?
2.
We've budgeted 2.
I have the whole Tahoes holding up.
Mhm. They're doing well. They're doing a lot better than my Dodges are. I had one Dodge to quit out here getting on the interstate 2 weeks ago. The boy going to school was driving it. It just quit pulling. And we got it down to the mechanic shop down there, had to haul a record down there. And when they got it down there, something in the tailpiece of the transmission had broke and come loose, so there was no drivetrain. Thought it was gonna cost expensive transmission, but it ended up being a tailpiece, which is quite a bit less than the transmission was.
Yeah.
So when you get these two, that'll get rid of all the Dodgers? How many's left?
I'll still have 3, but I'll only have 1 on the road.
One out of the 3, all it could be used if it had to.
2.
Get 2 out of 3.
I got one that's just emergencies only.
Post office.
No, just for, if you take yours down to the shop, have the oil change in it, your Tahoe down there, you drive this one until your oil gets changed and then go get you. But I've got 2, 3 Dodges on the road right now.
Let's get us down to 1 Dodge and the active fleet.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'd like for the council to go ahead and let Ronnie order the vehicles we budgeted and get that matter settled. As soon as they come in, let's get them marked properly for police work, street work.
They'll be going on the road.
Okay. And I believe we talked about adding one personnel to your department
Yes, sir.
in the budget, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Well, is there anybody in sight? Are we still having trouble getting applications?
We're in trouble getting applications all the time. I've got 5 or 6 on hand right now that were left over. There's a possibility of one that we interviewed the last time for the job that David has now may still be interested.
So how many officers do you have?
13?
Does that include your 2 investigators? and-
Yes. That's everybody from me down here.
You've got 2 investigators?
10 police officers.
We talked about, possible increase in activity of, strangers being in town when we start stopping people off the interstate. We think that may increase the,
We've got homeless here that, I don't know where they come from. I guess it's some of the side benefits of having an interstate right next to you. But, we do have some strangers dwindling every once in a while. I've talked to some of the other chiefs at Chiefs Conference with some of the businesses that'll be coming in here and some of the traffic will bring in here and stuff like this. This is some of the side stuff that gets brought in with it. He said it's, it's just, the feathers come with the bird.
I think we need to go ahead and let you post that job then Monday night. That's in keeping with the council's wishes. And then
And this would actually, one more man would actually loosen us up a little bit to where we can have a day shift, a night shift, and then what we call a split shift where somebody comes in. We'd have 2 coming in like at 10 o'clock in the morning, work to 10 o'clock at night. Or if if something increases, you can shift them down to 12 to 12, 1 to 1. You move them up and down according to activity.
how's the drug crime in our area right now?
We've got our share of it.
Just don't go away, does it?
No. We've got some domestic violence issues we're picking up, getting a little bit of speed going on them. So, we're using our lockup fee quite a bit.
Is there very much reported burglary right now, or
No,
theft
sir.
of property?
There's, misdemeanor property crimes. Somebody lose a weed eater or something other like that,
Not a whole lot of house break-ins, that kind of thing.
No, sir.
Sometimes theft rings start working in an area and they'll be hard to deal with for a while.
Mhm.
I hope that don't ever hit us again. We've had it before in the area.
Just like it goes phases from different places to different places.
We'll try to vote to post that job then. And are you posting for certified and uncertified, or you want it posted for certified?
I'd love to have certified, but we will have to post for certified and uncertified in order to be able to fill the position.
Okay. Okay. You got anything else you wanna share with the council today?
No, sir. We're doing pretty fair right now. I've got, somebody coming in looking at my plumbing the end of this week. I believe gonna be there Friday, so maybe we can get that fixed,
We're
cleared up.
gonna do our best to get that matter handled and where their toilets all work and flush properly and empty out.
So it's like it is right now, the 2 bathrooms next to the courtroom. If we have, like bus drivers meeting or a court session or something of that nature, we're not able to use those 2 in there because of something that's overflowing in the pipe. So we've got somebody coming in, they said that they're gonna go in there and make a hole in the wall and check the plumbing out, check the drain out.
Okay.
And I think that may take care of that
Let's
problem.
try to get it working if we can.
Okay.
Alright, Ronnie, we may need you to stay on for a little bit. We're gonna discuss, our next item is our chamber relocation, and you're kind of a target down there for us, and, you know, if you have a reason to wage a big objection, we'll wanna hear from you. If you don't, we're probably gonna, the office area that Marla's gonna vacate, we're probably gonna offer to the chamber unless the council has a different opinion. But I wanted to, they're gonna have to move from the building they're in. It's been sold. They've notified us they gotta be out fairly soon. And,
Only one question I have is Angela came by about, I guess, what, a month ago, maybe, look, less than a month, about the sign machine, thinking about putting it in there. So is the sign machine gonna go somewhere else and the chamber going in there?
well, we're gonna let Kathy make our street sign. She said she'll do that for us, and she knows how to operate the machine, so we're gonna locate it down there too. We've got it down here right now, but we're gonna move it back up there, and Kathy's gonna operate it for right now.
So
So,
somebody stay in the chamber all the time during business hours?
No, 3 days a week, I believe.
I don't know for certain, where the room is. Amy, have you heard anything said about the room that we'll put the sign making machine in when we carry it back to the,
I was thinking, well, I'm not really sure where they were thinking about putting it over there, cause they had said the office
I just
Marla
thought
was
there'd be
in.
enough room in that whole area to put the sign machine in the back room and the Chamber of Commerce in the front room. She thought there'd be enough room for both of them in that department, but I don't know.
I don't know, I mean, I don't know what kind of supplies room you have to have for the sign.
Signs don't stay there. Just the cellophane, the part that sticks on the sign is what she'll make. And then it's on a roll, and there's not very much of it. There's not a lot of supplies that go with the machine.
Then
No, it's pretty small, it's actually, I mean, it's not very big.
and chamber
The
will also
machine,
have,
the machine's about from right there to that wall, and it's self-contained. It don't take up a lot of room.
see, we have that old council room right across from where Martha's office is. They still got a table and chairs and stuff in there they can use.
So, we've talked about the Captain Hamilton house for the chamber, but it's not ready yet, and we haven't found out if we're gonna get the grant money to fix it up. We're working on a grant to finish fixing it. Hadn't got word yet as to whether or not we're getting that money. Right now, the best thing we've got to offer is Marla's headquarters, where she was. She'll be coming here 1st of November. So we'll try to not overwhelm you with too much stuff.
No problem.
Okay.
So in other words, you've forgotten about building the police, new building out here.
We don't have any money to do that right now.
Well, I'm just wondering, the last
It'll be
I
a-
heard was
It'll be
we
a
were
while.
talking about building something out here, and I haven't heard anything else about it, and now I understand, this is the first I've heard, now we're going back, I was fixing to ask who all stayed in the Dover City Hall. If it's in,
It'll be a while before we're ready to do that, Gene.
well, we won't be around.
It's gonna be a while before we can do that project.
I'm talking about it, it's a cancel,
As
some
much
of us.
as much as we'd love to jump on that, it's just not something we can do.
Well,
right
we
now.
got another year, I believe.
Right now, I think we have the police department, the cable office, the chamber's gonna go in there. We have the squad room in the back, and then we have, safe place.
Well, that's pretty crowded, isn't it?
It's not as crowded as it was, but
Is our new cable company, are they in effect now, or
far as we know, Spectrum owns the cable company. As far as the improvements, they kind of thought, overtures that they made of improvements, I can't see much improvements.
I had to go visit and see the ball game Saturday.
I'd set up my pickup to listen to the Auburn game Saturday. I didn't have any cable at all. And for the first half of the Alabama game, I went to the nursing home and watched it on probably the worst TV I ever watched. But I could see it a little bit. And the second half, I had cable back. But our cable was out all day Saturday till after dark. Anyway, I'd like to see our services improved here. I have citizen complaints about our cable service practically all the time. That didn't make the agenda today. Those are just comments.
Well, I don't understand that, because I don't have any problem. And haven't had TV cable.
Our picture breaks up a lot, just explodes and freezes on the screen, that kind of thing.
There's a lot of problems up there.
Maybe you need to buy a new TV.
TV is old.
Well, I've got 3 of them there, and I didn't have a problem with any
I'm
of them.
not gonna deny, we've got old TV.
I'm sorry, I'll give you one. It'll be old too, but it was
Look,
flush.
now, we've got Scott looking into whether or not we're gonna need to sign a contract with the chamber if they relocate to the police station. He thinks that he might have to draw up something of a legal nature that we agree on and that we not only vote on to let them house there, but some kind of a written agreement that would fit that. So I'll have him follow that up quickly so that we don't run out of time for the chamber to get relocated. And the council has no real objection. That'll be our first offer to the chambers to let them come to the police station. If you do, let me know and we'll rethink it. Next item is just in miscellaneous is, we've got an alcohol permit, that's gonna come up for vote probably, don't know if it'll make this meeting or the next, but one of our restaurants has forgot to renew their license and they're having to kind of start over. It's a relicensing process, renewing their permit, and it didn't get done on time, and this one's kind of crucial to them to not be out of service too long. It's been permitted before, but there's been some slip-ups and it wasn't really on the city's part, and we're kind of in a hurry on them. And if Angela were here, she could give you more detail about it. If you'd like to know why, just call Angela. She'll be back to work tomorrow and she'll give you the lowdown on it. But she's kind of went through it with me. She's talked to Scotty, our officer that works with permits, and she's talked to the folks at the state level, and she's talked to the owners of the restaurant 2 or 3 times, and they didn't meet the deadline is what I'm trying to say. And it wasn't the city's fault that it didn't get re-permitted on time, but they're wanting us to vote as soon as possible to get them back to where they're within the scope of what they're supposed to do to be permitted. Do you know anything about this, Ronnie?
Which one was it?
On the corner.
Yeah, it's just a expiration thing, deadline thing.
Yeah.
They've had alcohol up there before,
Mm-hmm.
since it's been the Secure?
I don't know about Secure.
No.
I don't know which owners, if it's still the same owner or not, so.
Oh, the people that own the Mexican place own Secure?
I'm not sure.
I think the permit's for Secure,
Secure.
yeah.
See, I think that's part of it, is because of the name change. But they hadn't
But the
alcohol
Mexico
permit.
restaurant took their license with them when they moved because we had to
Yeah.
vote for the change in location for them.
Mhm.
So if their license was transferred to their new location, that's gonna mean a whole new license for Secura.
And I think unless it's the same owner or whatever the technicality was there.
I know Angela's put a lot of time into this one, and she's needing it to come up as soon as possible. It may show up, if it does Monday night and there's questions about it, just go ahead and ask them, because she's worked enough with it, she knows exactly what's going on with it. That's one thing that's probably gonna be, kind of a brush item, to get it back to where it's supposed to be. I was thinking about our budget some today, and, we've, put in this year's budget a new garbage truck. I was hoping that we could make it till maybe June with what we got. You know, actually, the street department was working on one of the trucks this morning, doing some welding on the cylinder and some stuff, getting it back up to going, but I'm hoping we can hobble through to June, put the order in. It's about a 4-month delivery, and take this, truck in the fourth quarter and put it to work, get our new cans, and then we'll have possibly finance that truck, and we'll have a year to make a payment. So instead of having in this year's budget and crippling our budget, we can hopefully make it to middle of the year with what we got, put our order in, take delivery on it later in the year, and then defer our payment for a year and put it in till we get some new revenue coming in from our new taxes and we coming off our station down there. I think it'll really lighten our budget, help us a lot to not encounter that expense in this year. I'm gonna talk to Mike about trying to make it to the middle of the year, and I believe the guy that came and told us on getting the truck ready, it's about a 3 to 4 month period to get it ready, take delivery on it, maybe in the third or fourth quarter, late third quarter, or early fourth quarter. And then we can, according to him, we can get 5 annual payments. First payment be a year from the date of delivery. So that'll put it in a total other budget. I guess it may be kicking the can a little bit, but it'll get it, since we adopted, and I appreciate y'all adopting a deficit budget to make these projects happen. We did have a pre-construction meeting with Don this morning. Bon or Don, which one is the pavers?
Bond.
Bond, okay. All right, we met with him this morning along with Al Dot and Porter for pre-construction for our paving, street paving. That's probably not gonna happen till Christmas week when the elementary school's out. They're that far behind, they think that they'll start the street paving Christmas week, is what the man promised us here at this table this morning. So still a ways from having our streets paved, but this paving company has got more work than they can handle right now. They won the bid, but can't get right to it. But that's just my thoughts on the garbage truck. If we had a catastrophe and broke down, I mean, we might have to get it a little earlier, but I'd like, even though we have plans to get a new truck, I'd like to push it down the road as far as we can, due to the nature of our budget this year. Our special projects, we're gonna be careful about adopting too many special projects going forward. The Ragsdale project, looking back, might have been untimely. when Rodney introduced it to us, there's no doubt the need was there, but, it wasn't perfect for, our budget, but I think we'll get some good benefits out of it for the 200-something thousand we're having to put in the project. I really think it's a good project. And Gene had a great point when he said we're shortchanging the deal, not to get the drainage problem worked out, but for an extra $500,000, we just couldn't afford the extra money right now to fix that drainage. And I hated that, Gene, that we couldn't keep the drainage in there, because it is, from time to time, it's a problem over there. It's not always a problem. If you have a general rain, they make it. If you have a flooding type rain, they have some water to contend with for a few hours, or sometimes it's only a few minutes, but it does rise in that street. And but in order for it to, the project to go forward, we had to get that expense out of the project, and that's why we didn't do it in this job. We didn't plan the drainage in the project initially, but citizens over there that live there made us aware of the problem, and that's why they wanted to try to bid it with that in, and it just didn't work out. We still got our 450 coming from the grant. The folks over there are putting 300 plus in it, and we're putting about 210, and the deal made it all work out to 49,000 or so. Anybody got anything they want to talk about today? I just had those things on the drawing board. Since we had a time limit on the cancer policies, I wanted to address it first. Ronnie, for goodness sakes, needs them cars in to get them Dodges off the road. Some of them not safe to drive. The steered's out of 2 of them. Just, they're a disaster. I hope we never have anything in the fleet that says Dodge again. It's bad cars.
Are your Tahoe's 4-wheel drive? 2-wheel drive? All-wheel drive? 2-wheel drive?
Two-wheel drive.
How many 4-wheel drives do you have?
None.
Just Wade 6.4, is it?
Wade's
four?
four-wheel drive.
Put him in the mud.
Is Wade up the only 4-wheel drive?
Yes, sir.
Okay. It's a
The one
4.
Tahoe you had got wrecked, didn't it?
Yes, sir.
That's what I was thinking.
It got borrowed for a short distance and run into a tree.
That one. That one.
Mm-hmm.
Ronnie, how long does it normally take the state to clear the streets when we have, I understand this year is gonna be unusual for snow. How long does it usually take them to grade the streets when we have a snow that's?
Most of the time, they can get on the day before and start brining the state streets and the main streets. And they do a pretty good job setting up for it. And then they've got the sand place over here now where all the sand in this region, it comes from there, so we're right here at it. And got another one out there, but they're pretty quick about getting it.
Sometimes we have risk factors like the hospital and things like that,
We
where
have
you
to.
guys have to do some emergency runs for them.
Yes, and we try to, we cut it back to where it's emergency calls, only no patrolling or anything like that when the streets gets back there, especially the side streets.
Yeah.
Because just above the elementary school up here, one of my patrol cars got hung in that bottom down there. It may have melt out before we need them out.
Yeah.
So there's some of the places kind of like steep hills. and-
If anybody knows anything about the weather, there's prediction for heavy snows this winter. And I don't know if it'll come true or not. When we see snow around here, it's usually a surprise snow. But if anybody knows anything about weather, they're predicting a a tough winter for us. So I just wondered what our procedures are when that happens. I know the fire department and your department are the two. Sometimes our water department has emergency breaks that they have to fix. And so,
We got down,
and our street
3 years
guys do
ago.
what they can, in those situations. That's one of the times that our street guys are also on call for.
the big snow we had 3 years ago, I think it was 3 or 4 years ago. We ended up using a Ranger from the Yamaha place.
Okay. Okay.
And surely one of Rodney's new vehicles is a four-wheel drive because the wastewater men have to go and the water treatment people have to have a way to get.
You see that little Toyota that the park wreck's got, it's 4-wheel drive.
Little green one.
Winter's not that far away. We just need to be as prepared as we can be. Some minor chance of some severe thunderstorms the next couple of days, so,
From tonight,
yeah, Thursday night will be.
tonight.
After midnight's what I meant.
Yeah, sometime,
Scott, we enjoyed reading about Les's career in the paper. Y'all had a lot of good stuff. I don't remember him looking that young in some of those pictures y'all put in the paper.
I wasn't born, so.
You don't know anything about that.
midnight to early morning.
Appreciate everybody coming out today. Thank y'all for your hard work. I know a lot of times y'all are called on. Nobody says thank you, but I'm gonna say thank you to all of you.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel at www.youtube.com/49 County News TV.